Lads, we are back.
Yep.
Hi guys. Before we move on, I got this message I think from you
Barely
guys.
starting.
I know.
Yeah,
We're not moving on anywhere.
Yeah, we got a bit of a message. I don't know. We were told not to talk about this topic. I don't know. It was something in the notes. I don't know. I was kind of tired last night, but you put something about Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. I don't know. I know they lost to the Spurs last night, but I will not, delve into it.
You had me for a second. I was about to get really, really mad.
It's like that meme. You know the meme where it's the football player and he goes, "You got us. They got us in the first half."
Yeah.
And then,
no. Yeah. You know who's good? Steph Curry.
That's what I hear. That's what I heard too.
Saw Will tweet about it. Not any of the other Wills we know.
A lot of Wills we have.
Yeah.
Not the written one, but actual people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, it's really weird doing this show after the trade deadline because it just feels like nothing's happening anymore and we're all just kind of waiting to get to the playoffs.
That is true.
And that's about less than a month away.
Yeah. I actually really, really like this shortened season. Not the schedule itself and how condensed it is, but I can't do 82 games. Like, I think I've watched all but maybe half of a Habs game. But, like, in 82, there just gets to a point where, like, I can't do it. Like, the last Habs game I didn't watch at least 55 minutes of was probably their last game against the Sens. But, I mean, like, we need to – enough of the 82 game stuff. No more, please.
Really?
You know what I can see them doing?
What?
And they talk about this. I've heard them talk about this in baseball.
I was going to mention that.
They cut down the regular season, but they do play-in games.
I didn't like that, and I'll give you my reason for that. And it's a very specific, biased opinion.
Okay.
Why?
Because of the condensed season last year, which they didn't want to do this year.
Yep.
In the National League, they had a designated hitter for the first time. I really do not like that. I think that if you're gonna field, if you're gonna play, you should also bat. Pitchers should bat.
I agree.
It's also better for strategy. I love it.
Yeah. Not play-ins. I like the playoffs the way they are. It's just, just don't have 82 games. You don't need it. I mean, it always sucks too whenever, the Raptors and especially when the Blue Jays start playing, if you're a hockey fan, because all Sportsnet then broadcast is Jay stuff. And it's like, okay, I got to go to the French channels in order to watch Alex Ovechkin play. And it's like,
it's the money, the revenue.
Okay, I understand that.
They own it, yeah.
It's either I have to find other means of watching it or pay NHL TV, which costs more than my internet and my TV combined.
The tragedy of hockey sometimes when it comes to revenue.
I think it's more that they own it.
Yeah. Also basketball. It's been ramping up too. Shout out to Dan Berlin talking to me about that, about the increase in basketball revenue.
Berlin Law.
We should have him on the show.
Dan Berlin?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice guy.
So we got a few things to talk about today on the show. Not a lot. Like, absolutely not a lot. But we'll make it work. So I guess to start is a story that we were trying to shine some light on earlier. Patrick Marleau has tied Gordie Howe's NHL games played record at 1,767. Well, I was looking at them both, right? And just comparing how each player did it. Patrick Marleau, I don't think probably missed more than 12 games ever in the season. Gordie Howe, of course, the schedule was a little different back then, but on all the different decades he played in, just so much respect for Patrick Marleau. Fans do not truly appreciate games played, but us here at the 201 podcast, we really do, Daniel.
Yeah, I tweeted through the podcast that I joked at Leafs legend Patrick Marleau, but honestly, he's a respected guy. He's someone that he's forever going to be known as a Shark. I love them on the Olympic teams, but I know it hurt in the end. But to have a guy of that character, of that respect, really of that skill that he still put up in his first season with the Leafs, I love that he was in Toronto. I like that, there was a bit more of just more media focus on him for me to like actually really get to know the guy a lot more. Like I know that they had the family aspects of it, but you know the way Toronto media is, they delve right into it, and I really liked him. I really like even now that he's back with the Sharks for a third time, that it just fit. And you know, congrats to him, by the way. It's kind of crazy. His speed is still there.
Yeah, but the scoring touch isn't. Alex, Patrick Marleau.
Yeah, I just pulled up his regular season stats. I'm looking now. He hasn't missed, assuming it's a full 82 game schedule. So let's not count 2012-13 and last season. He's always played more than 70 games. He's been under 75 games once.
Consistency is there, eh?
Yeah, and it's great. Like he's been such an impactful player for such a long time, and I think we forget that because the downhill, it went downhill. But like we have to remember, number one, he played a lot, and like this guy, he was very skillful, like you said before. It might not be there now, but it was there. Like you don't become a second overall pick for nothing.
Also,
he is 41, by the way.
Yes, and he's doing this without his treasured RBK skates.
You're gonna have to explain that for people who don't know.
Okay, so there is these skates that he used to always like. Apparently, he used to buy them in bulk, and they told him that they're discontinuing it.
Oh.
So he bought like I think 30 pairs of it. And I think midway through his second season with the Leafs, he was down to his last pair of it that he had to change them.
15 seasons with at least 20 goals, by the way, for Patrick Marleau. 566 goals, 1,196 points. Hopefully he can get to 1,200. That'd be pretty sick. No individual hardware when it comes to NHL play, which is a little weird. But yeah, gold medals are in there. Probably a Hockey Hall of Famer. Don't think he's a first ballot, but he'll be there. He'll be there pretty soon. Seriously, the most games played in NHL history. He'll break the record soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And just good for him, Patrick Marleau. And yeah, I saw you tweet that Leafs legend thing, and I almost took it down because the disrespect to San Jose here is incredible. But I was like, no, we'll let the joke stand here. We'll let the joke stand here. You know what else is a bit of a joke? The fact that we had to wait like 3 weeks to get the second race of the Formula One season. We're going to spend a little team time on this. We'll go back to hockey in a minute. But earlier today was the Imola Grand Prix. Congratulations to Max Verstappen for winning, I think, his first race ever in Italy because he's just been cursed there. Yeah. And credit to Lewis Hamilton. His own mistake brought him down to 9th, but fights all the way back up to 2nd place, 3rd for Leclerc, 4 and 5 for the Ferraris. You know, they're going to love bringing home those points. A messy Grand Prix that started off with a bit of rain, a bit of a wet track, and nothing's quite as entertaining as a wet Formula One race.
I'm very surprised it rained, by the way, just because it was on the forecast, but that doesn't mean anything.
Formula One on the forecast, and it's just so it's not going to happen.
Exactly. Like it was really entertaining, and then obviously the red flag in the middle of the race caused not necessarily a reset, but it's like there was so much momentum, and then you'd think that it would reset, but it didn't. It just kept going. The momentum continued from the start again. And it was unfortunate. Like Gasly was up there as well in the first part, and then he fell back.
Those tires, they had him on wets to start. No,
it was unfortunate, but there was a lot of. I think it's going to be a fascinating season for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't know what's going on at Aston Martin, but it's quite funny that
Seb did not have a great race. He had a lot of issues.
How the tables have turned, by the way.
Yeah.
Remember last season when they all complained,
Alex,
how they complained that oh, we weren't copying the car, and now their car's not great.
Alex?
Yes.
You didn't say it.
What?
Well, how the turntables.
Oh, sorry.
You know who, by the way, Lando got driver of the day. I think he deserved it. Another guy, 5 pit stops, still finishes in the points for Esteban Ocon. Felt like he very quiet race, but at the same time, I think he definitely deserved that. I think he deserved the point today.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even realize he had 5 pit stops.
I saw the graphics.
Holy.
I think Seb had 6. I feel really bad for Mick Schumacher that he lost his wing at the pit exit and had to do 2 extremely slow behind safety car, or is it yellow? I think it was a safety car laps, just without his wing, just praying that the pit stop will open so we can go in and get a new wing. Felt really, and by the way, shout out Nikita Mazepin spinning again. You love to see it.
It also sucks that he has to drive for that team.
It does. It does. Another good thing about Formula One is we're going to talk about it a bit more this Wednesday because we have a guest coming. Guess we're going to talk about the Habs, Formula One,
the North Division.
On the North Division, which if you don't like hearing about the North Division, that sucks because
listen,
kind of how it works around
if
here.
you've come this far and now you've decided you don't like the North Division, what have you been listening to? Why have you been listening to us? That's half of what we talk about.
We had a good balance about the West Division. I don't know.
No, I know.
We have some sympathies, some sentiment there,
I know.
We don't really focus on the West. We just kind of see that St. Louis are struggling, and then there's
and the Call of the Wild. I love it.
That's okay. Fair enough. We're not naming the episode "Call of the Wild."
Okay, I tried to emphasize that one. The Ducks will rise again. There's another example.
Once they figure out what exactly they are, and then go.
When they learn to fly, like the Foo Fighters.
When they learn to fly together.
Yes.
Fly together. I'll tell you who's not flying together in one. The Canucks and the media. First off, the Canucks are playing tonight. They will be playing the Leafs. We're going to talk about that a little later and how I don't have a good feeling about the Canucks tonight. Originally, they were going to come back earlier in the week, I think it was, but they only had one practice after missing a ton of time, more than New Jersey, more than Buffalo, more than any other team that has been shut down due to COVID. They have missed more time. So basically, the Canucks are like, hey, we need more than a damn practice here. And I'm going to read you a tweet here from Patrick Johnson.
They were supposed to play last night against the Leafs. It got pushed today.
Mm-hmm. So Patrick Johnson is a Canucks reporter for Province Sports and the Vancouver Sun. His Twitter bio says a fool who doesn't run the Canucks, and he's a member of the PHWA, that's the Pro Hockey Writers Association. Here's a little statement. The tweet itself reads, statement from the Vancouver chapter of the PHWA about the Vancouver Canucks to hold closed practices ahead of their return to play in violation of the NHL's own media regulations. For 3 days, you know when Twitter, when you bring up a picture, there's the X to close it, and it just happens to cover the first word you're trying to, you love to see it. For 3 days, the Vancouver Canucks have been in violation of the National Hockey League's media regulations, which are, hold on, I don't know, in the collective bargain. It's part of the collective bargaining agreement between the league and its players. Simply put, when a team practices, media are to be allowed to access to view practices. The Canucks have not been allowing media to view practices, claiming privacy concerns, also suggesting that media would not be taking into consideration the difficulty of the difficulties the team's players might be having in recovering from COVID-19, which recently infected nearly every player on the team. Such an implication is insulting, especially given Vancouver media was united in its criticism of the return to play schedule the league was originally asking the players to undertake. With a minimum practice time before playing 2 games in 2 nights, all coming off the back of the players being off the ice for nearly 2 weeks while they recovered from a devastating respiratory illness. Now, this is something I really don't like, guys. It takes them this long to say this bit. And we all know the saying, we're all journalism students here. Daniel's almost graduated. there's that kind of saying about how people only read the first 3 paragraphs. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down. It was not 5th line, but 5th block of text. The Vancouver media, suffice it to say, has a great deal of sympathy for the players and the demands that are being placed on them. With a regular season game scheduled for Sunday afternoon, Saturday morning would have been the only opportunity to see how the team was preparing for their return to play action. The public has great interest in understanding how and why a professional sports team is recovering from an illness that has been affecting lives for more than a year now. This has been a difficult season for all concerned. The players have been asked to accept restrictions on their lives. There have been no fans in the building. Until the last few days, the Canucks were to be commended for the openness in which they treated this story, which saw them as an unfortunate example in what is a growing health crisis in our community. Time and time again, they underlined the threat that COVID-19 poses for everyone. Boopity, 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 boop. And the rest of that doesn't really matter. The last sentence I will read you, though. It is also important to note that the presence of the PHWA members at a practice at the start of the outbreak is a key reason why the story has been told accurately from the beginning. Okay. There is one thing that in our time studying journalism, I have never quite, I think no one will ever agree on what is public interest really. Mm-hmm. I will say this though, before I hand it over to you guys. I, as a member of the public, do not have that much of an interest about the Canucks practice. All I normally get from a practice is lines, who is scratched. We will find that out before the game happens. I think if the Canucks, who are going through a very difficult time right now, don't want the media there, whether their own reasons, whether it is, I don't know, they want to just focus on it, they don't want to have to do media. I completely understand that. And I want to remind everyone, this is not the first time that the Pro Hockey Writers Association has had a bit of a bad timing, I say, with posts concerning their rights as media. We had this around about the time when they were barred from doing interviews in the locker room. They had a really, really bad timing post about saying, we will accept this, but we do have our rights and we will get the chance to work in the locker room in the future. I am so not on side with the Pro Hockey Writers Association on this. That's my take. I'd love to hear your guys's.
I think, clearly that's a PR statement, right?
Not a good one either.
How many PR statements? Right. Like, it's not a great PR statement, but most PR statements in this scenario are never going to be good. I think it's public interest for a couple reasons. Number one is the governments in some provinces and federally have decided they're going to play hardball with professional sports in terms of restrictions, but when it comes to the public, they play a completely like their citizens, they play a completely different game. So I'd like to know, like, they've been through this, so why are they being hardballed but we're not being hardballed? Is one thing. Number two is the way the NHL and the NHLPA have handled this situation is an utter mess, because you're like, there's no reason they should have only had one practice and played the next game. Mm-hmm. And to say that having 2 practices or 3 practices and then only pushing the game a day later doesn't make sense to me, because that something doesn't add up. So what condition are the players in? Like, if JT Miller did not say anything, and I don't know if we're going to get to this now or you want to get to this later, but if JT Miller didn't say anything, that game was still happening on Saturday. I don't know what the role, like, for 2 weeks in a row, it feels like the PA has had, the NHLPA has had horrible press. And because no one is being very transparent with why they are playing, I haven't heard a single thing from the NHL saying, well, we pushed it back a day and the doctor said this. In my mind, I think it's in the public's interest or the fans' interest, I guess, because to know what condition are these players in and should they be playing. And I know we tend to think it's just line rushes, but I think in this scenario, it's a little bit different.
Daniel.
Yeah, I really believe that this is kind of this whole thing that it just become a bit of a mess that in a way that it's been really kind of it's turned out to be. And I agree with like a lot of the parts that you and Alex have said, that it's just a lot of push and pull on so many sides. But at the same time, when we think about our own unique, I guess, perspective in it as journalism students, as hockey fans, but we're still within the public realm of things. It's like there's so many things we don't know. There's so many things that nothing is being disclosed or anything. Because again, when we look back on what JT Miller said, like we saw the one statement where it was the Brazil variant, and that's one that Canada's not really unsure about right now. They have the vaccines, but they're really kind of unsure, like how long will this kind of go on, like, fighting it, or if what are the long-term effects of these things. And it's just really interesting to me when you think about a lot of the reductions on these things. I know they had the whole isolation and the quarantine, it went down to 7 days, but for me, it's just like jumping headlines with a lot of things where you saw everybody was sick. You had all those comments online where everybody was struggling with it. Everybody was. And Travis Green today spoke about that. And it was a very, blanket statement where people asked, how's he feeling? And he said, I wanted to return to the bench. I feel better. I wouldn't be here if I couldn't do it. But like, I don't know. It's something that it just kind of doesn't bode well with me, because it's like 21 players were sick. And this was a week ago where they said that they were feeling the symptoms still. They were worried about their own families. And then now it's okay. We're pushed the game one day back.
It's like nothing is going to change in the long term with the Canucks and the media. Like, no, that's not going to happen. This is the way I like looking at this, right? If I was sick and like, if I want the media to back off me for these, what might be the most important practicing time of the Canucks season, I'm sick. I'm trying to deal with this in my own way. So are my teammates. My health is none of your business. Now, saying a player is on COVID list and that's the way it has to work. I get that, but it's just me, the way I want to side with the players here, because if it was me in that scenario, I would do the same thing. I don't get why the PHW, I always get mixed up. I don't get why the writers had to say this in the first place. I really don't get it. I don't think anyone is taking issue with by them, even if it is PR. You just make yourself look so much worse here. And the fact that, and we all know how deliberate placement is in writing, that you waited until the middle of your statement to be like, hey, Vancouver, hope you're still good. Like, come on. Like, I hate using this, but just have a bit of class. And like, public interest, I hate when writers use the argument for it because it's so subjective. No one knows exactly what public interest is. No one does. Oh, does it matter? Well, like, and I get they are like, they're celebrities, they're sports stars, but at the same time, privacy is so important, especially nowadays. Like, we've never had less privacy in our lives than we do right now. It just rubs me the wrong way. It really does. I feel for JT Miller. I mean, they're going to get killed tonight. I'm convinced the Leafs are going to have their way with the Canucks tonight. Because the Leafs are going to want to rebound from their Winnipeg game, and they're going to come out strong. I don't know. Has it been confirmed that Matthews is back tonight?
I don't think so. Not yet.
I think, but yeah. What about Nylander?
It's a game time decision.
Game time decision. Anyway, you still have Tavares and all them. Like, the Leafs are loaded with skid. It's not going to be a problem. That and the Canucks they're not in game shape. Some of them, we know how players are when it comes to playing through injuries. But like some of them, I can't imagine what their conditioning is right now. It's going to be such a bad game for them.
Before we move on, it's not about the writers. It's about like what is the point of having the PA if this is how it's gonna, what I mean? Like this is the second week in a row. I don't know if you guys heard McDavid's comment from a week or two ago, where they had to reschedule a game because of the Montreal outbreak, or the case. Sorry, not the outbreak, the case. And they did it on the same day as Colby Cave's funeral.
Yeah,
on the same day.
Connor McDavid came out,
and then 2 weeks later, they pull this stunt. Like, what is it exactly that they're there for if this is what's going to happen? Like, I find it hard to believe, and I don't know this for a fact. I find it hard to believe that the Canucks players' concerns were not brought to the PA beforehand.
In case people are wondering, like, you're going on about the Pro Hockey HA, the PA. We mean like the National Hockey League in this sense, players. So their union.
Yes.
Their
like
freaking union.
I think there's blame to be placed everywhere. I think there's blame not on the Canucks. Sorry, there's blame to be placed on the NHL for doing what they did. Like, I don't know what the thought process here was, and I think there's blame to go towards the PA. Because that your job is literally to make sure that they are okay.
Yeah.
In this scenario, are they in game shape, or they don't are they even healthy? Are they even remotely close to game shape? If not, why are they playing?
It's also what Bo Horvat mentioned as well, where again, it's something that I think a lot of people don't really think about. And I really like that he gave that perspective that, there's so many things going on that you have to separate the athlete from the game. Sometimes you have to think about what he said, his own family, where he's really worried about things because he knows as much as we do about the variant.
Listen, like, put yourself in other shoes is I think what we should leave this in. Like, it's that simple. Guys, I have the Boston game on my TV to my left, and every time I see something out in the corner of my eye, it seems to be a scrum. So that's a juicy game. Hopefully Ovechkin can score. That'd be pretty nice because Ovechkin is currently at 730 career goals after scoring a pair against the Flyers the other day. He's 164 away from Wayne. So I just wanted to devote some time to running some numbers here. And I think it's something like he scored 16 goals in his past. I'm going to find the tweet from Filipovich quickly. But he's just scoring at this insane number right now. Again, we all think at the beginning of the season that he's gone off and he's slow and he's slowing down. And then it's 16 goals in 20 games. It's Alexander Ovechkin.
It's incredible what he's going to do. I think there's division between will he do it, will he not do it. I think either way, it's the fact that he's getting this close and considering how many games he has missed and how many the era that he plays in and continues to play. And now there's a little more scoring, but the start of his career, the scoring was not there. The scoring was not there league wide. I mean, and he's still this close. Come on.
Let me.
I like your tracking of it, Adam. It's been really fun to see it. Especially, I don't know, it's maybe just a coincidence too. And if we're gonna go on a lighter topic now, it just when you started tweeting about it, I feel that the goals have been coming for Ovi, and they've been more impactful.
So right now he's 35, needs a new deal. If he averages 55 goals for the next 3 seasons, he'll do it. I don't think he'll do that. Like, I like looking at his hockey DB page because it's like 52 goals, 46, 65, 56, 50, 32, and 38, 32 again. What's his 51, 53, 50, 33, 49, 51, 48 in a shortened season last year? Basically scoring 0.5 goals per game this season.
It is something else.
Oh.
So sorry, he has to score 35 more goals for how many years?
In 3, I only did it for like in the next 3 years because I'm just going to make it easy on myself. Okay. He needs to average 55 goals in the next 3 seasons.
55 goals.
I mean,
oh my God, I did not realize that. Okay.
I believe, I don't know. I don't know if he comes to mind. You know, can I tell you a random fact?
Sure.
By the way, you know the Eric Lindros draft that also had Scott Niedermayer, Peter Forsberg. You know who actually has the most points out of that draft?
Who?
You want to guess?
No.
Because I have no idea.
There's like 6 Hall of Famers in that draft.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Can you say it? Oh yeah, because I'm guessing
he's not a Hall of Famer.
Really? Yeah. It's really weird to think about there's someone in that draft that outscored Lindros and Forsberg, but then you realize, they basically only had the games played of half a career.
It was Ray Whitney.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he even break 1,000 points?
Let me see that.
Wasn't he on Hockey Wives? And like his
he
dad?
Was? Oh,
Ray Whitney.
Ray Whitney.
He broke 1,000 points.
How many goals?
385.
He's just one example of someone who is also in his prime or even well into his late 30s, a skilled winger that maybe, I don't know if I know Ovechkin's going to have to adjust his game eventually. Like he's not doing those crazy hits like he did before in his 20s, but there's a possibility he could still he could pull a Ray Whitney, a Patrick Marleau maybe.
Because he doesn't how does Ovechkin's going? One time
from the circle. Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. You don't lose your shot like that. His legs aren't going to be a big deal if on the power play you can just the shot is so clearly not slowing down.
Unless he's Danny Heatley.
He's not Danny Heatley.
Yes. That's just a preview, by the way, of my next Hockey Writers article.
Danny Heatley?
Yeah.
Just throwing it in there.
Ovechkin, though, I think he can do it. I hope he does it so badly.
I like the James Myrtle. I say he does it.
I hope he does it.
That'd be big. I hate Marleau this year, and then this is happening in our lifetime.
I know. I hate looking back on it like this, but he's missed so many games. It's just so unfortunate.
So, and not his fault. So
no, not his fault.
Would have been his rookie year, right?
Yeah, because of the lockout.
Yeah. So, okay, and then the 13-40 season, let's say 48 games. Okay, so let's just say we'll be conservative. His rookie season, he only gets 40 goals. Let's be conservative there.
Okay.
I love that that's bad for Ovechkin.
I know.
So let's say he does that. Okay, 40 goals. And then let's say in 2012-13, 48 games, 32. Let's say, again, he hits 45 goals that year. So let's say that's another 7 goals. We're rounded up to 10, and let's say he's up to 50 then, right?
So 780 goals I have right now.
So 780. He was at 48 goals at 68 games played last year. So let's say let's give him another 4 goals.
Okay, so 784.
How many? 784?
That would bring him to 784.
Okay, 784 goals. Hold on, let me do some. Okay, so 890. Hold on, 894. Say the amount again, please, Alex.
784.
784. Hold on a minute. I somehow ended up in 700,890. Okay, say that one more time.
Okay, so with all the additions that we've made, he would have 784 goals.
He would be 110 away right now.
That's a lot more doable.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's 35, but like you said, his shot's not really going anywhere anytime soon. And the way he plays the game, you can literally have him for 2 minutes out on the power play, stand in one spot.
And we're lowballing it. We were lowballing it there.
He had 52 goals in his rookie season, his actual rookie season, right?
And I don't see the Capitals regressing like dramatically.
Neither do I. I think that Anthony Mantha trade shows they want to do like this isn't over.
And the way they drafted too, it's like it's pretty underrated how they draft. Like Connor McMichael, Hendrix Lapierre, the best name in hockey right now outside of the NHL, Alexander Alexiev. You have to get his jersey, by the way.
No offense, but how many of those guys have played NHL games yet? Wasn't Lapierre just drafted?
Connor McMichael, he looks like he's going to be a steal.
Yeah, but
a real junior hero.
They gotta play. They need a goalie.
What? They have Sam Tanoff.
Look at is he good? Look at his
number. What's the backup goalie, the Czech goalie?
Vitek Vanacek.
Yeah, he was pretty solid.
It's looking.
It's like these are Braden Holtby numbers. And they're still
Buffalo, but like they need let's whatever. The Cap, they're fine. I don't think they're the strongest team in the East. Or
no,
what's normally the Eastern Conference because I don't know what they're in the East Division this year. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yes.
So dumb.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they're not 2018 Capitals, but I don't know. It's
when
I think they'll be okay.
Like that team lacks elite talent, like the Capitals.
Because Kuznetsov's still 28?
Yeah, but what helps the Capitals is that Kuznetsov plays on a separate line from Backstrom. Oh, this team doesn't have the elite talent of Draisaitl and McDavid. Do you think they grow on trees, people? Do you think first overall pick actually means that they're instantly a superstar? Like Deline, no. What is that? Svechnikov's second overall? No, he's not.
Let's wait on Deline. He plays in Buffalo. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, still, even look at the guys like Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi we're working on, but he's not going to be like a 20,000 point player.
No,
we don't know that. Never give up.
No, you can. No, you have to be fair here. Like, I just hate this thing of this team needs elite talent, dude. You don't players. Those first off, they never are available. Rarely happens. They rarely go to free agency. It's been like what Tavares and Chara have been the two big ones in how long?
Panarin.
You sound like
Panarin wasn't even drafted too.
You sound like
showed out of nowhere, and the Blackhawks flubbed it.
You know when you talk about like the elite talent never being available.
Yeah, because it's
not. Like teams want it. You sound like Brian Burke.
Because it's true.
About the lottery.
The Penguins are great because they won a lottery and got Sidney Crosby. The Oilers won how many lotteries? And they're still not the best team in the division. They're not even close to it.
I mean, they were lucky 2005. Chris Letang was in the third round as well. So that was a steal for them as well.
But I think that
Malkin was second. They traded up for Marc-Andre Fleury. So that was pretty smart of them. They actually traded the picks that became Dan Carcillo and Nathan Horton, along with Mikhail Samuelsson for Marc-Andre Fleury. So that was pretty good on Ray Shero. Or was that? No, not Ray Shero. Greg Patrick.
I think that adds to Daniel's point, though, on how hard it is to get elite talent by them having to draft. Like, look at Tampa Bay. When was the last time they had a lottery pick? And look at how many guys come out of the AHL and are just like, okay, I'm here.
Andre Palat,
successful
third round pick, Braden Point.
Right.
Yeah. Anthony Cirelli, 4th round pick.
Yeah, that's a dumb one. They're dumb in a good way. It's just.
I remember I got so mad the Leafs didn't pick him because he was invited to the World Junior Camp that summer, and I was so sad. Well, who did they get? Rinat Valiev, I think, instead.
Yeah, sounds right.
Rinat Valiev, that's the name. Where is he now? I think Montreal traded him to Calgary, and then.
Anyway, no, that was Kirby Reichel, right? Oh, no, they traded both of them to Calgary.
It was both. Yeah.
For Hunter Shinkaruk, one of the best names that I wish panned out in the NHL.
Yeah. Another Flames guy that didn't work out. Talk about a team that can't draft the Flames.
No, he was drafted by Vancouver.
Really?
And then they traded him for Marcus Grunland.
They're both bad. That's, the Canucks are good at drafting. That's true.
Not anymore.
What?
They lost Judd Brackett.
That's true. Well, then it begs the question, is a team good at drafting or developing? Like, that's the real question, right? Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. We're going on.
Yeah, okay.
One random fact about the development.
What?
About if you draft or you develop well. And I'm just going to leave it here because I know that you're going to think this is a biased thing. But this wasn't a feature by James Myrtle in The Athletic.
Okay.
And Justin Pogge also compared that, where he mentioned how the development of what it is now to compare to when he was here, it's just so different. And yeah.
On trade deadline, I think it was like all the goalie guys like Martin Biron and Jamie McLennan were talking about, like, I think it was Martin Biron was showing a clip of Phil Ovechkin scoring on him, and he's like, back in the day, it was word of mouth. And I'm thinking, like, Ovechkin was drafted in like 06.
04.
04. And I'll say, yeah, he was the opposite year. Yeah. But still, I'm like, there was no scouting back then. No, like, developing is more important because it doesn't matter how many good prospects you draft. You can have the best one, but again, like, Delene's another example. You need to develop them. Like, you just don't pull a kid. It's like, all right, go play. Development is 100 times more important. At the same time, though, you need to have picks to draft. Arizona are bad at drafting and developing. Cough, cough.
I love the Steve Dangle Magic Beans concept.
Yes.
Well, the best teams are good at both of them, right? Right, like Tampa Bay. The best team. Colorado.
I know this is not a good example, but Columbus with when those, I remember when they were kept flubbing on their first round pick, but then suddenly like, oh, what? Who did they get in the 6th round? Cam Atkinson.
That's Montreal right now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where we're all praying for Cole Caulfield to work out because it's like Tenardi, like, goddamn. And then it's like Romanov in the 2nd, Evans in the 7th, Primo's yet to play, but 7th.
Nikita Sherbak.
1st and didn't work out.
Yeah.
St. Cloud guy. God damn it. Yeah. How's the Texas Stars? Hey, we're going about the Habs, so we can talk about them anyway. Sure. They have their most important stretch of the year coming up because they're playing the Flames a ton, and the Flames are nipping on their heels, and everyone has stupidly counted them out. Imagine how dumb that is. Like, hey there, we're not even going to bother to look at the schedule, see the Flames are about to play the Habs 5 or 6 times, and we're going to say, hey, the Flames are out of it, even though they're about to have this giant series against the teams they're chasing. How stupid are commentators like that? Like, talk about the commentators' curse. Like, seriously, the game against Friday that Montreal beat Calgary, like, Flames took the first game. They were so lucky. Like, they just so did not deserve it. But Toffoli out for the year, they say. Shut up, Mike. Toffoli with a pair. He's great. Love it. Gotta love his girlfriend posting pictures of him and his dog with a cupcake. You don't have to say it. Man, they need Brendan Gallagher back so badly. Like you just need to, like, I think it was Ducharme said, we need a bit of Gallagher dust and everyone needs to put it in a drink and have some.
Yes.
Because it's like, man.
It's like Space Jam.
You ever seen their, I know where you're going, but I can't remember.
Michael Jordan's Secret Stuff, and then people just go around drinking it and they're like, oh, I feel like I keep going. And then. But at the end, Michael Jordan's like, this is just water.
There's a joke I can't make, but I'm thinking of one, and it's from South Park.
Oh.
You guys know what I'm thinking. I can't say it for obvious reasons, but look up the Sarcastiball episode. God, where are we going with this? Anyway, yeah. Brendan Gallagher, their record without him since he was drafted, because he came to Montreal really, really quickly, actually. They just can't win. Like, their winning percentage is like at like 0.4 with him. It's disgusting. Or 0.400 because not just percentages. It's like an F1 timer. It's like down to the foul. It's so dumb. But there just seems to be a lack of zest in Montreal's play at every single level, unless your name is like Like the young centermen just sort of take turns. Jake Allen's been pretty good. Not much out. Like they go up against the Leafs, right? And they have that wicked effort.
Yeah.
And then they play the Flames a few days later. When Calgary do the back half of a back-to-back against the Leafs. And the Habs look like a team that had played and traveled overnight. I don't get it. Just like, I don't know why there isn't, like, this is supposed to be the thing of when the young players aren't at their best, like the vets need to be taking over here. And they haven't. They have not. I want Gallagher back so badly, guys.
Two things.
Sure.
What their questions. Not usually I ask what the issue is, but I think the issue is clear. Right. Like, then I guess like now my question is, so how do you fix it? I guess you don't have to answer it, but if you have an answer, go ahead. It's one of those things. It's like, how do you fix effort? And I felt like all of last season I was trying to answer that question myself. So I'll give you a shot at answering. How do you fix lack of effort?
Okay. It is a difficult question because you can look at so many different levels of Montreal season. And I'm sure when we have our guests later on in the week, I'm sure she'll have something to say about this as well. It's not coaching, clearly, because Julian didn't get it and Ducharme hasn't worked. Is it personnel? I mean, can you blame Bergevin for his moves over the summer? Like, you can't sit there and say Toffoli is 20 goals so far in the shortened season, making less than $4.5 million. Come on. Josh Anderson has been playing great. Can you blame him? Like, on pace to score 20 plus goals in the full season? No, you can't blame him. Again, like, this is something we said the other day, and I cannot stand saying this. I hate that I'm about to repeat myself saying it, and it's a saying that Bergevin uses, and I can't stand it. The answer is seriously in the room. Like, how is Shea Weber not, like, talk about leadership? What the hell is he doing? It should not be down solely to a Brendan Gallagher. No offense. Like, I love Brendan. He's the most beloved member of this team. Like people in this city love the guy, right? Like, how is it like you should see the way Gallagher plays and you should be inspired to just go and work at it should be so simple. But it seems, and he's a leader. He has the A. Yeah. It just seems like people aren't doing their parts. Like at some point you get frustrated. Druin, score a damn goal. Like, why is the power play still not able to do anything? Is Eric Staal going to be visible again? I don't have the answer, but it should be. There is no excuse. You'll look at that roster and you're like, there is no excuse why it should not be firing all cylinders. I saw people in the Athletic comment section blaming the young centerman, and I'm like, man, have you seen Kotkaniemi play this season? Are you serious? And then you look at like a Yoel Armia with no hockey sense. And then, like, Danault's been good, but then, like, how he played the first half, how Thomas Tatar can't handle a puck or a one-timer on the power play. Shea Weber can't make a pass in the zone. They can't defend in their own zone. We're relying on the third pairing of John Merrill and Alexander Romanov. They hate Brett Kulak for some reason.
That's the one. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, this is just my own thing because I just think about other teams that have done this. Where when they talk about the answer being in the locker room, a big, the buzzword we've always mentioned here is accountability.
Yeah.
And, to use a Alex reference, like, why don't you just go nuts? Like, get nuts. That's nuts. With the lineup changes, like, Shea Weber, you made another really bad turnover. Okay, you start on the third pairing the next game.
That's a good question.
Yeah, Corey Perry, you brought us a lot of energy from the bottom lines. Let's try something. Maybe Jonathan Drouin is not working out some here on his lineup. Okay, he goes back on the fourth line. I think it's a crazy idea, but I've seen it work before. And as someone that, again, like with covering the Minnesota Wild, one example right now, Zach Parise is on the fourth line, and because he just was not doing well. He had a lot of mistakes with passes. He wasn't really, being, the smart Zach that we know and love. And he's been stuck on the fourth line ever since. And it's just worked wonders because for the people who are performing, they're getting the most minutes. It's not about looking at, the name or looking at what did they do previous games. Like, what did you do for me lately?
That's a good question. Like forward lines, they have tried so many different things. Like they have, and just nothing seems to work. And at some point, maybe you do wish, like, just keep something together. Like whenever there seems to be like some sort of top six change, they just get sick of and just throw Kotkaniemi with like a Paul Byron. It's like, man, no, just keep him with a Toffoli or something and let them keep that sort of and just like let them try and grow that chemistry. On defense, I don't quite get why they still are trying Sherratt and Weber. I don't understand why you don't at least try Romanov and Weber. Like anything. Maybe things change when they get to Edmonton and Gustafsson and Merrill are there. Because right now the current defense is just not working, and maybe that shakeup. I don't know why, if it's this stupid hockey thing of respect for Weber, because he has not been good. The answer is somewhere. At the end of the day, though, I mean, it's on them.
Can I give another example? Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, I know it's a cheesy answer, but I think you're right. Like, the answer is in the room. Bergevin made his moves. Most reasonable human beings who cover hockey would have told you that the Montreal Canadiens could very well finish in the top two in this division. So on paper, this works. And we saw it. We've seen spurts of it under Julien, under Ducharme. Like, the answer is there. What is going on? And I think Daniel makes a good point about changing, like holding people accountable. Like I do agree with that idea. Like, I don't know what Ducharme has done. You've obviously explained it in terms of switching the lines up, but something's got to change. I don't know what it is, because Brendan Gallagher being injured shouldn't completely ruin your team. Like, it shouldn't be an absolute mess just because you pull the one guy out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just been no one to stand in there. Like, their answer was like, okay, we'll try Kotkaniemi on the wing. I thought he was playing well there, but then they're like, nah, which fair enough. You know me, I love strength down the middle. And then they tried Paul Byron up there, and at some point you're just like, and like, we got to talk about it now. There was a clip of they didn't even have anyone working the left the left half wall, like no one on that side of the ice for that a right-handed one-timer, and he's traveling with the team. Why are we not like, listen, if you put Caulfield in for a few games, that doesn't kill his development. If you yo-yo him, it does, but there is nothing. Zip, zero, pas de choses, zits, nothing. You lose nothing from trying him for a few games. Absolutely nothing. Laval's not playing right now because like they were supposed to play the Marlies, and we all know that. I hope they're all doing well. Like, you need goals. You need someone to help on the power play. You don't have anyone working that spot. The only one-timers I see being lifted now are like Thomas Tatar, and that never works. And they're worried about, because they only have one recall left, right? Because they wasted them. They're like trying to do their cap shenanigans. And then at the deadline, it was like, no, let's just bring in all these defensemen. And now they can't bring in Jake Evans without using an emergency recall, because they don't want to waste that last call because they wanted to use it on Cole, but they're not using it. Use it. Like, you lose nothing. And you cannot lose 4-0 to Matt Murray in your home building. That is so embarrassing.
Yeah, Eric Engels, like, reading his tweets during the game. It was like, he feels it too.
First game all season, I've turned off halfway through because I'm not dealing with this. And I know I talk about playing up and down. It's the Sens. It's Matt Murray. His save percentage is in the 8. Like, what are you doing? Why can't they win at home? It's the Bell Center. It's a good building. You losers. A bunch of you, if you wanted to, can live across the street. Caulfield sent his media thing. That's where he lives. Dude, what are you doing? It's not hard. You have the best arena in the league, even if there are no fans. Like, dudes, like, there's no excuses anymore. Don't be losers. Just win. You're going to piss away your season, and then this is all going to be for nothing. And then you're going to go into next year with the Bruins, the Leafs, Tampa, and Florida, and you're going to be the third worst team. And you're going to be stuck between those teams and the Sabres and Detroit. That's where you're going to be.
And the Senators. And the Senators.
Yeah, I forgot about them because they're so crap.
They're a work in progress.
No, I think you make a good point about at least trying Caulfield. When I first saw he got called up, I'm like, that's interesting. Like, I do think because Laval wasn't playing, having him up with the big club, even though he's just on the taxi squad, it's a good idea. But if what is happening, like if it's still happening, just try it. You literally, like, what is there to lose?
Nothing.
What is there to lose? There's injury risk, but there's always going to be injury risk. That's kind of a lazy narrative, especially in this position.
Especially the depth they have, and like, even before all these deadline moves, like, they were already deep. And yeah, I don't know. Like, when you mentioned John Merrill and Alex Romanov, it reminded me of Pittsburgh again, where, if you have Sidney Crosby, you're going to be okay. He could ride the ship even if Kapanen and Malkin and Jason Zucker are in and out of the lineup. But on that defense, that those crown jewel pairing that they had last year of Marcus Pettersson and John Marino, they're struggling, and they're technically the third pair right now. You know what the second pair is?
What? CC
Michael Matheson, yes. They're the ones playing it. And again, accountability, because they've just stepped up. They've been able to stay consistent when they're fighting off these injuries, when they're fighting off these lineup changes. And it's just another example where these two guys you committed long-term that are entering their prime or are in their prime right now, you still hold them accountable by putting them on the third pair because they're just not playing to the standard you acquire them of, especially if that cap hit.
Man, it's funny. I've fallen in love lately with the fact that Romanov and Merrill can be a pair. Apparently, he can play the right side, and they really want to put Romanov on the left. Apparently, like, just do it, losers.
Is it a +3 pairing?
Yeah, great chemistry. Like, okay. It sucks that right now I have to get excited about a third pairing, but like, I don't know why. I get really excited thinking about Merrill and Romanov. This is the point we're at. I want to stop it here just because we're going to talk about them later in the week. I don't even know when they play. Like, I don't even look at the schedule anymore. I just get the notification. Oh, the game's starting soon. Okay, great.
I'm scared now. You're just going to ask Laura. So, Laura, how sad are you about the Habs? It's like the first question.
That's question number one.
I realized I hadn't shaved in the week, so like I was getting a bit of stubble. I should have just like wrestled my hair like for like Laura. So like,
I just shaved this morning.
Yeah, I did last night. Yeah.
Oh.
Leafs. Again, they're going to be looking to rebound because that game against the Jets was messy. It was like, you guys know what a trubbish is?
No.
What's a trubbish?
Okay, I'm going to find a trubbish quickly to show you guys.
Okay.
Because it is basically the perfect – Alex, is screen sharing it? Perfect. Okay, so a trubbish is the perfect example of how that game went. If I can just screen share. Trubbish is a Pokemon.
Okay.
This is Trubbish. He is the garbage Pokemon. Trubbish is a poison-type Pokemon, including Generation 5. It evolves into Garbodor. I'd say maybe Garbodor. This is Garbador. If you want to know what exactly we're looking at, you should definitely go to the YouTube portion of the show.
Looks like Clayface.
And this is how I would describe that game. It was bad. It was trash. I'm taking the piss now because the Leafs have been good all year, and this is the only time I get, and this is how I'm going to be happier about the fact that they suck. It was not a good game for the Leafs, and they're going to be looking to rebound against a Canucks team that is in a very, very bad way. And like you said earlier, Alex, Matthews, we don't know. Nylander, day-to-day, or game-time decision, sorry. Do we know who's in net? Hutchinson.
I will not be touching the ice ever again. Not this year. I haven't seen it. Who's starting? I'm assuming it's Jack Campbell at this point. I haven't seen anything else. It might be David Riddick, but who knows at this point?
Big save, Dave.
That game.
He was not big save Dave in that game.
No, he wasn't.
No, I don't. That other than that one mistake, than that one mistake, which was, oh my God, horrendous.
That looked like a glitch, like in a game.
Yes, he did.
Like, I don't know what Marner was doing. I'm not entirely sure what David Riddick was doing. It blew my mind. Because Mike reacted to it first. Because I don't even want to go over why he reacted to it first. And then I'm like, oh, what happened? And then he's like, watch. I proceeded to watch one of the worst things I've ever seen.
You know what? I want to find the clip quickly.
It looks like, I like thinking about the video game glitch thing. It just looks like, the player model, like one of the moves is just out of place. It looked like that.
It was not fun to watch. That, like, the no question about it, that was very unflattering in so many ways. But I think the rest of the game was just kind of meh.
Not a catch up, yeah.
It wasn't a good game from the team, just in general, which I guess it's okay because this hasn't happened before this season, I don't think. I think the only exception would be the second game of the season, but I kind of removed that one because it's a weird season. There wasn't much of a training camp. It felt like they were still trying to get into game shape at that point. I thought what happened a couple nights ago is probably the first time all season where it's been like that. Like, where it's been that bad.
Again, like too, when you mentioned this game, or when they're still adjusting in the second game where they didn't really have an authentic training camp. I think like there's these flibs that have been happening, but I think the big difference here is, and especially which has been great in a shortened season, is that the Leafs have been able to come back from these. They've been able to kind of rally when these type of things happen, because, in the past there's these things where they're elongated in a way. Like, for example, the Frederick Anderson, like, bad streaks with things, I think, with him being injured and everything, but like they've adjusted to it. Like, they just didn't stay with the Michael Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Before we end the episode, remind me that I actually want to talk about LTIR because it was mentioned on the headlines. I forgot to put it down on the show.
Okay.
Adam,
what?
Remember about LTIR, okay?
So I want to ask, what's worse, that goal, the David Rittich, Mitch Marner stuff, or this goal against Colorado, December 4th, at the line, confusion with Riley and Spezza, Valerie and Nikushka. I just want to, I love this goal for so many reasons. So Morgan Riley's there, Spezza's there, going through the legs. It's a complete tie-up, and then Nikushkin goes the other way. We don't need to watch the goal.
It was the David Riddick one.
It was the David Riddick one?
That was the worst one.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
You remind me of,
I do expect to bounce back tonight.
Bro. That thing where the guy just puts the tape on the hole kind of thing. It's like, that's the solution. I feel like,
yes.
I don't know. It reminds me of David Riddick, where it just,
what type of tape? What type of tape? Because there are certain types of
that's
tape.
true.
I always see the commercial.
I see the Gorilla one. I don't know.
The Gorilla tape, and you just slap it on.
You just slap it on. Yeah. I think it's kind of like that. It's like, how do I stop this fast break?
You just said like a Band-Aid on a leaky pipe.
Yeah. It's like, let me paddle it away.
Paddle?
Like, what? Paddle away the the fast break.
What?
Like, he has the stick is his paddle.
Okay.
When you're,
I get
when you're in a canoe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like that.
He looked like, I get it. I get
You
it.
get it?
It's good that you get it. I didn't get it. I needed clarification there.
It's just it doesn't. It's so unfortunate. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
It was a J stroke. He was trying to turn around. I said, "What?"
It was very confusing what he was trying to do. I don't know what he was trying to do.
When he was supposed to pizza, he French fried. And he had a bad time, okay?
That's a good one.
You got it?
That's a good one.
Okay.
It was ugly, okay? South Park's a great show. If that show started airing today, it wouldn't make it past like the second episode.
It would.
I mean, even like the first season of The Office, I watched it back.
No,
not at all. It would
most
never.
shows would never move past episode 5.
Be canceled.
Probably.
Okay. I was looking at, they were projecting those lines of Foligno and that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that fourth line. What was it? Was it Spezza, Thornton, and Simmons?
Oh my God. I sent that to Mike yesterday.
Yeah.
The top nine's like, all right, I got something. And then you see the fourth line, you're like, so you beat the Leafs by targeting the fourth line, basically.
Oh my God. That would have to be the oldest line.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what was that? That's like, let's like Yager, like New Jersey Day level of age right now.
I love Joe Thornton. What he brings to this team. But I think there was mistakes playing this guy so high up the lineup for that long.
It's crazy to say take him out and like give Sumela a chance at something.
Anybody.
Give him load management.
Yeah.
Like that might just have to be the approach that the team takes up until the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially him and Spezza. I wouldn't mind that at all.
You have the cushion. Just do it. Like, honestly, at this point.
You also have guys who are more than capable of coming in for a game or two.
I was listening to somebody talk about the Leafs can, with this chance, see what they have for their depth. And I was thinking, haven't they been experimenting with the bottom 6 all year? Like, if you don't know what you have now, what? That's your fault. Like,
no, I don't agree with that. I think they know what their depth is. That's why why would they make the moves they made if they didn't know what their depth was?
Yeah, I get short season, but we're at 40 games now. I mean, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, hey there, guys. Barabanov, man. If only we still had, he would have been no. It doesn't matter.
Mikko Lehtinen should have been the answer.
Mikko Lehtinen is the answer to the power play woes. I still don't get how the hell that's not working. Just
neither do I. It is bizarre to me that when Nylander and Matthews come back, if they do not load up the first power play unit, I don't know what my reaction is going to be. Like I don't want to turn around on Manny Malhotra because I think what he's done, like clearly the power play has worked under Manny Malhotra. I don't know what's happened, but
I will always be shocked that the Washington Capitals power play, which should be like the benchmark, right? Yeah. Like it's been top of the league forever now. And it's quite simple when you think about it. Like Oshie's bumper, Kuznetsov's far side, Ovechkin's got the circle, Carlson works the point. You have the 2-1. Even if like some of the best goals, like we always know Ovechkin's going to, but like you always got to watch like the short distance saucer to Oshie that Backstrom sends sometimes. It's beautiful stuff. Like man, like the fact they have Oshie, like everyone talks about Carlson and Ovechkin, Oshie being right there isn't. And by the way, Mantha has scored in like 5 straight games.
Wow.
Well, and you know what? You know what's going to happen? He'll be invisible for the next 5.
Exactly. It's
really weird. Like
it was nice while it lasted.
Like at some point, like you leave Matthews out there for 2 minutes. You basically like do the reverse. You got the offensive instead of Carlson, you have Riley.
Yep.
The left-handed. Matthews is the lefty instead of like just kind of copy the Caps power play. And you should figure it out. Like, I would love to see, like, who normally works front of the net bumper spot for the Leafs on the power play? Is it Nylander or like Tavares?
Wayne Simmons.
Wayne? Okay, why is that? Like,
I don't know.
Guys. Like,
grit guy.
So I asked Mike, I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, well, first off, Wayne Simmons is so close to the goalie. So that's why I don't know why, but he is really close to the goalie.
I'm not a genius, but maybe Tavares and Nylander, who are wicked in front of net, tight end players, probably.
No, not William Nylander, apparently. Okay. He's not, I'm just joking.
Like
choose your shots too much.
It's so not hard.
I think yesterday in practice when they were doing PP, Nylander was net front.
There you go.
Laughing.
It's
Stop
not that
laughing,
hard,
Daniel. Stop laughing.
Okay.
Okay,
we're 12 years old.
I know. Sometimes.
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, the league are getting or teams have been complaining about the use of LTIR. In the breath of, I feel like teams are finally sick of the Robbie Dot Island. Most recently, Kucherov. Steven Stamkos is on LTIR all of a sudden. Even if they rather have those players, there is still strength within Tampa's lineup. Listen, I hate LTIR because it is the necessary evil to just sort of mess with the cap. Though maybe if you don't want people kind of cheating, make a better cap system. Because the hard cap is just the worst thing that's ever happened to hockey.
I didn't think this would be a trend. Like I remember, and I've mentioned it so many times, when Blackhawks got Chemo Tiemann in.
Yes.
They couldn't technically afford him for the players they had, but they put Patrick Kane on LTIR, and then he came back for the playoffs. Yeah. Magically, here's Patrick Kane 100% for game one.
CJ said last night, 17 teams are using LTIR.
Yeah.
17 teams. Like, maybe you're number one, your system sucks, and maybe you have no revenue. Like, remember, the cap's not going up anytime soon. This is never ending, by the way, this LTIR, never.
Here's the issue here is and like hard cap, like you with like no money be at all because of COVID and no fans in the stands. And we've gotten some, but like, when are we going to be at max capacity again for all 30, soon to be 32 arenas? It's not going to be for a while now. The fact that you're getting rid of the only way for teams to actually improve because of how screwed the cap is, as opposed to money in, money out, which we have clearly seen was not working at the deadline. That's why we had to start using the Yzerman buffer team system here. Like, why are we looking down on this now? Like, it's either like rework the cap because it's terrible and parity is such an issue, or shut up about it and let it happen, because it's not like this hasn't been happening for years already. Again, since like the Blackhawks, I'm sure there's examples behind that. No one was complaining when you helped out the Kings with all of their cap stuff. Rob Scuderi, anyone? Rob Scuderi? Anyway, you know what I mean? Like the Scuderi Richards stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, Mike Richards. That was weird.
My guess is there are a couple teams, the ones who have absolutely no money and the ones who Gary Bettman really wants to survive. You know who I'm talking about. Made a call and said, I don't like this. This is bad. And then Gary Bettman said, okay, because I really like you, I'm going to send everyone else a little note. I don't know why we're complaining about it. Maybe it's our big market bias because all the three of us are fans of Toronto and Montreal, who are the biggest markets in the league behind New York. But I'm sorry, like, teams have to clearly, the way this is set up, teams have to find advantages to either bring players in, number one, and number two, succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's reasons team like when you saw that Sebastian Aho offer sheet and Bergevin front loaded that deal, he did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
God. Do you guys in front of you have your playoff predictions by any chance?
not in front of me. I can find them.
Okay. Daniel?
Okay, I'm finding him as well.
So I think it would be really fun to just quickly look at who we had and just kind of look how the season is shaping up and how it's looking down the stretch. Nice goal. The Bruins. David Krejci. The Bruins are winning. So, for example, in the North Division, I had Montreal, Toronto. It's really funny looking at this, and I have under Winnipeg, I'm like Patrick Laine. And under Calgary, I'm like Jacob Markstrom. And we all know how that goes. I had Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Montreal. I got wrong on the Edmonton teams, unfortunately. In the Eastern Conference, I hate this so much.
Eastern Division.
I forgot I had Buffalo because I was being dumb. Pittsburgh, there we go. I had Philly. Oh, no. Carter Hart, how could you? And Washington. The Central, I had Tampa, Carolina. I didn't believe in the Panthers, so I had Dallas. And I had Nashville, who are coming through. You'll love to see it. They are currently in fourth, 2 points ahead of the Blackhawks, but they have a game in hand. And in the West, I had San Jose, which is not impossible, but looking unlikely. I had St. Louis, who are still in it. They're a point back with 2 games in hand over Arizona. And then, of course, I had Vegas and Colorado. I had Colorado ahead. They are ahead by 2 points right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure we had the exact same.
Oh, I had the weird ones, yeah.
Lists, except the only difference is I had Toronto, Montreal. I had Toronto, Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary.
You also had Florida, I think. You were right on that.
Oh, yes, I did have Florida.
Okay. I think you want me to go?
Yeah, because your West Division is really fun.
Yeah, so my North one was Toronto, Montreal, what is it? Vancouver and Edmonton.
You had Vancouver making it?
Yeah, Vancouver making it. Because I don't know.
Did we rib you for that? Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep the West Division last because that one's a funny one.
Yep.
East Division, I had Capitals.
Good.
I had Capitals, Pittsburgh, Islanders, and the Devils.
Why do you have the Devils?
I don't know. I banked on potential. I do that in all my fantasy leagues.
It was the Mackenzie Blackwood effect.
Okay.
If I told you that the New Jersey Devils are 500 away, but they are 4-16-3 at home. What?
Crazy.
Didn't they have like a 9-game winless streak?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's been bad there. My Central was the Lightning, Hurricanes, Panthers, and Blue Jackets.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel. You got it wrong on the Jackets. You're nearly perfect there. Okay, and the West Division.
The West was Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, and Anaheim.
Minnesota are in it, technically.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the hell? They're 12 points ahead of the Coyotes. What happened?
Yeah, they're the Wild are.
Oh my God.
They're 27, right 13, and 3.
Yeah, they've only lost, I think, once at home.
What?
They're good.
Yeah, they're really
also
good.
Remember accountability thing, because remember for so long we talked about Ryan Suter and Zach Parise being the cornerstone of that team. They're just banking on that. It's changed so much that they're actually using all of their top young guys who are developing. It's like, oh, Joe Eriksson Ek, he could actually be a solid second line center, bordering first line center. Maybe if you don't put him on the fourth line, it'll show.
Showing to a player's strength instead of their weaknesses. What a surprise. And then you have the Ducks, who are dead last in the division at 35 points. I haven't looked at the overall standings all year because I just don't care.
They don't.
But
really
I want to
matter
see
that much.
who, just for the lottery, right?
Yeah.
I want to see how everyone's doing. The Sabres are in last. They're 5 points behind the Sens, but they've been hot lately, eh?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, they're 5-3-1 in their last 10. That's better after like 18 straight losses. The Sens in New Jersey are at 34 points. The Devils do have 2 games in hand over the Ducks, who are fourth class of 35. The Canucks not looking amazing. They're fifth, but they've got lots of games in hand. 9 over Detroit, so that's pretty good. I don't know how many more they're going to win, unfortunately. I think that's everything. Who's your MVP this way through the season, guys?
Connor McDavid.
That's good. Daniel?
Alex Barkov.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
Except Connor McDavid has 71 points. What the hell?
I'm going Connor as well. Okay, who's going to win the cup?
Biased or unbiased?
I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to say Montreal. You'll say Toronto. I'm biased.
Tampa Bay.
Okay, Daniel?
Colorado.
Minnesota.
I'm going Colorado as well. I'm not getting off that train. I've liked them before it was cool.
Philip Grubauer has emerged. What do you mean? They were always cool. They just
Hold on.
No, they were not.
They were always cool.
Hold on.
They were not.
I had faith when they finished last. All right, they've been my second team since I was a kid. Don't even. I have a Joe.
What do you mean? Don't even?
I have a Joe Sakic jersey. Don't play with me.
I have his signature.
That's great.
But that's the thing. It's like for every loss, you still see a glimpse of Patrick Waugh, Adam Foote, Milan Hajduk, Alex Tanguay, Peter Forsberg.
I'm not putting Tanguay in. I stretched to put Hajduk there. Forget about Tanguay.
What? He's former captain.
Yeah. So.
What?
Yeah. Well, and Joe was the real one. I'm not having to follow Joe Sakic as captain.
I mean, Adam Foote actually followed
Should be a
Joe Sakic. Then it was Milan Hajduk.
Yeah, but Adam Foote's good, or was good.
Milan Hajduk was good. He made the All-Star game.
Yeah, 1,000 points, I think. So what? He was good, but he was never the guy. He's the Chris Bosh of the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, on the Raptors or Miami.
What?
On the Raptors or the Miami Heat. Yeah.
What are you saying? Yeah, Raptors, not
Andre Bargnani was the guy, you're right. And then it was Chris Bosh.
Don't even talk about Andre Bargnani, okay?
Did LeBron win 3 with Miami?
He won 2.
He won 2. Who was it? Was it him, Wade, and Bosh?
Yeah.
Yeah? I remember that when I was a kid. You know what I don't remember? Whoever won the cup those years.
Really?
What years were they? Let's see if I can
2012.
Oh, it was so the Kings.
It was the Kings. 2013, it was the Blackhawks.
It was either Bruins, Kings, Blackhawks, or Penguins. You got 4 options.
Well, hold on. So 2009 Detroit. Before 2009, I can't tell you. But
2008. No, 2009 was Pittsburgh. 2008 was Detroit. 2007 was the Ducks.
Before 2008, I can't tell you.
Okay.
What is that? Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Boston.
Yeah.
LA, Chicago, LA, Chicago. Pittsburgh, Washington, St. Louis, Tampa, Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay, and you agree. There you go. Daniel predicts the Montreal Canadiens will win the 2021 Stanley Cup. Thank you for watching this episode. It was a good one. We enjoyed making it as much as you probably did listening to it. We have a TikTok now. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids.
We've joined the cool kids gang.
Yeah.
We're now cool.
We'll only wear our hats backwards now. If we had hats.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, there it is.
There's the hat.
There's the backwards hat.
I don't have a hat around here, unfortunately.
Voice said, thank you as always for being a fantastic platform for the show. Check out the YouTube to see all our beautiful faces. Check out our own social medias, the show's Twitter, the Facebook. We never forget about the Facebook, except we always forget about the Facebook. We posted on the Facebook.
I think so.
I don't know why, but people are still liking it. Thanks, guys, whoever's liking it.
Check the Twitter, my YouTube channel, Alex's blog, Daniel's stuff for the Hockey Riders, and guest this week, Wednesday.
It will be Laura Coopers from.
I wasn't going to say who it was, Daniel.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah,
Too
she's
late.
great.
Go ahead.
Amazing writer.
Start
Amazing
explaining.
writer.
Start explaining.
Go ahead.
Start
Yeah, no,
explaining.
go ahead. Restart.
Yeah, Laura's
late,
an amazing.
too late.
Yeah, Laura's an amazing writer. I worked with her at the Riconian. Got some work done for the Hockey News. She knows a lot of sports: F1, golf, hockey.
She knows golf, eh?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask her about Dustin Johnson. I'm disappointed in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask about Mike Weir.
Don't know who that is.
Don't have any golf questions.
Okay.
Formula One, I'll have lots.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is that everything?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.